Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Yezzo. Welcome everyone to another episode of Mornings with Omar. I'm your host, Omar, and I thank you for tuning in. You know, thank you for guys. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Welcome into a great rendition of what I'm about to do here. You won't be disappointed. I'll cover some great topics. If you've been checking in since day one, day two, just welcome back. We here again, another Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. Hope everybody's doing well, taking care of their mental health and their physical health. Hope everybody's staying active and staying productive. It's never too late to, get things started. If your month's not going as planned, make today the time to get things in motion, or at least get a blueprint in your mind, if not on paper, of what you want to do. Hope everybody can achieve their goals for this month. How you started is going to dictate, how it ends or where it can go. So, just let's all start off on the right foot. Welcome in. Hope you're in a good spot. Hope you're comfortable. If you're on your way to work and you're listening to this, then I hope you have a good day at work. Whatever you're doing, I just hope that you embrace what's going on, embrace your challenges, and just really, do what you can to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Staying active. Trying to stay proactive. Stay committed to the plan that I set forward. And I hope everybody does the same. This pandemic, it's been changing our lives, since the beginning, since it happened. And it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. More than likely, we're all still going to be in this for the next year and a half, maybe 2 years, while everything gets figured out, everything gets situated. There's a lot going on, and we got to make sure that we take care of ourselves during the process. Like I said, I've been staying active, and I've been trying to not get how, the beginning of the pandemic, or maybe the middle of the pandemic, how it got me, being in a house, on a regular basis now is different for a lot of people. And we're approaching a year of, being in quarantine and staying inside and not being able to function in normal society how we used to do it. And yeah, man, it's important to just, find some time in the day to just stay active, for a lot of people that, lost their job or that's now working from home, life's different. And if you're in the house most of the day and, you're getting your work done in at home and maybe at a desk or wherever, and then, you don't really get to go out because while you're not working, maybe you're taking care of household chores and cleaning up, doing dishes, cooking. If the kids is home, then you're also home taking care of the kids, making sure they're doing their schoolwork if they're doing it, home online. Because I don't think everywhere really brought kids back. I know some places have, but, some kids are still at home doing it Zoom or, whatever technology they're using. So yeah, man, the home is definitely different. It's not how it used to be. We used to come home to relax and, decompress and, just find peace from all the noise that's outside of the doors. So now that we're home and we're working from there and we're trying to get things done, where do we find that time to have peace? Where do we find that time to decompress when we're in the same place all day? So you got to find that time to, be active, whether it's going for a walk or a jog or, going to the gym, maybe going to maybe a yoga studio or, one of those. I'm not sure if those things are back in motion. Those little dance classes, what are they called? Man, it's slipping from me, but y'all know what I mean. the yoga and the dancing that they do, those types of things. I know some gyms are opening back up, so find that time to go out there and get some active, some physical, uh, something physical just done. Physical exercise. You know, work that stress off and try to find peace in that. And yeah, man, just staying active because you don't want to. It's easy to get lazy when you're home all day. If you're working from home and you finish up your work, it's easy to just go ahead and plop on the couch and, man, I worked hard today, which I'm sure you did. But you can't get too comfortable. It's easy to get comfortable. It's easy to get stuck in your ways. So try to find that time, to go outside and just get some fresh air. If the sun's out, it's definitely good to go out there and, get some vitamin D and get some sunlight. I mean, I know it's cold and I'm not saying you have to be outside for an hour or so, but just get some air, man, and just take a little walk around the block or something. And as important as it is to take care of your physical health, it's good to take care of your mental health. So, this pandemic has a lot of people, that's people that's in relationships, marriages, and things like that. Some places are seeing increases in divorce rates. Some places are seeing it kind of decline. So, whatever your situation is, relationship wise, make sure that you talk things out with your significant other, or you're still in contact with maybe, a therapist or something like that. If you're single, then make sure you're talking to friends and family members and just getting those thoughts that's in your head, out to someone, or just if you have to write them down, if you don't have anyone to speak to, there's other outlets that you can use outside of people. You can write these things down. You can paint these things. You can draw these things. You can find a creative approach to if you're not, just artistic in drawing and things like that. You can find a different creative approach, whether it's sewing or just putting things together or taking things apart. Find a little mental peace some way, somehow. So just make sure you're out there reaching out to people if you need to. Because this, like I said, this pandemic doesn't look like it's letting up, and we got to make sure we take care of ourselves to be able to sustain, just strength to get through to the end and get back to some normalcy, But we're still in for a ride. We'll all get through it. We got through it this far. I mean, we got past 2020, and that was a brutal year. I mean, man, I don't know about y'all, but that was rough. So, we got through a year just about, and we can get through this together. Just take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health, stay active. You don't want to fall into bad habits or bad behaviors. When I say behaviors, I just mean like, just ways of doing things. If you know that you're not someone that can easily motivate themselves, and you use external motivation to get things done, whether it's like just being around other people or competitiveness that maybe is at your workplace or so. Some people don't have that. Some people use that external motivation, but you also have to use that internal motivation to get things done too, and just build good behaviors and good habits. We are creatures of habit, so just try to find the time to get some good things going, and get used to it and embrace it. We all kind of condition ourselves to do certain things and do things a certain way to get certain reactions and results. So, you got to be mindful. I always say self-awareness is key, because if you know about yourself and if you know what you like to do and what you don't like to do and what you like and what makes you happy and what gets you going or what kind of puts you down, these are all the things that you should be aware of. So, you can stop yourself from falling into any traps, so do the things that you need to do and reach out if you need help. There's nothing wrong with needing help. I know for me, it's been kind of a struggle in the past, reaching out for help when I needed it, just because I'm the type of person that likes to get things done on their own. I don't like to depend on other people to get something done Because if they don't do something right or they don't do something up to my liking, then I feel like, man, I should have just did it myself. So I struggle with asking for help. So don't be that person. It's okay. Everybody needs a little help. Everybody can use a helping hand. So if you need help with something, reach out to someone that knows. Um, and do what you gotta do to take care of yourself, guys. Just do what you gotta do, and girls. And we'll be all right. We'll get through this. And that's that, man. Anyway, let's on another note, let's get into something else. I was in a focus group recently, which was pretty interesting. It was about being black, being a black college student in like a predominantly white school. And in the focus group, we just kind of discussed, different challenges or, just how we felt with under certain circumstances. And I don't. I think the goal of the focus group was to just gather some insight on what it's like, and for someone that is a black college student in a predominantly white school, it definitely has its challenges as far as just fitting in and some of the things that people were saying. And I didn't get any reason that I couldn't talk about this. I don't think it's like some secret focus group, but yeah, some of the things that people were talking about is just like being able to just find role models, people that you can look up to, like professors or advisors or the people that lead and teach you. And it's when the person doesn't, when there's people that are in positions of just like authority or teachers or professors and stuff like that, you kind of want to connect to that person and their ways of, and give them some more context to this. This was the psychology department at my school, particularly. So, and I won't put my school's business out there, but it was a predominantly white school, like the name of the school and things like that. But it was a psychology department, and so I guess with mainly non-black or Hispanic, professors and advisors in that department, as black college students, what some of the people were saying is like, there's nobody that looks like me, that I can look up to, and kind of role model after, because essentially it's just I guess it's probably natural for people to try to find somebody that looks like them. And if you have a role model, I'm not saying that these role models, like, we have to have, like, I don't think the focus group was saying like we have to have someone that looks like us, but just it would, I guess what the people were saying, and to include myself, is that we just kind of make it feel a little more welcome, not welcome, but just to feel a little more comfortable, just comfortable with, because we're learning about psychology, and they're teaching us things, and we're getting viewpoints from, a different perspective. And then one of the things I like about psychology is that, there's so many perspectives to look, there's so many ways to look at things. You don't have to just look at things a certain way. So, some of the things that I've been learning over time is that, people are affected in many levels. So people are affected at the biological level when it comes to psychology. People are affected at the physical level, people are affected at the mental level, and people are affected socially by, so many factors, so many perspectives. So to get back on track is, if we was able to have those professors and things like that, more of them, would just go a long way. And I know one of the things that I spoke about was that there wasn't many other black students, in my classes. And I'm mainly in just, psychology courses now, because I'm close to the end. So I'm not taking all the other like general classes, and it's not that many black students in the psychology department. And for my school to be, you know, where it is and where it's located, and how important psychology is and mental health is to all people, you know, there's a lot of stuff that it's just not prevalent. I feel like it in black families and black cultures. At least it hasn't been for a long time. We looked at psychology. We looked at psychology. We didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about depression or anxiety or PTSD, trauma. None of those words crossed my mind ever in life. Probably until I was like a whole adult. I was probably like 24 years old. I don't think I really even heard those words being uttered on a normal, regular basis. Like, we never spoke about it, and I don't know, it's just different. In those households, maybe it was more prevalent in other cultures. I wouldn't know. I just know it wasn't spoken about like that in my culture, in my household, and things like that. And maybe they didn't know either, or maybe it's just, I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't that many black students in my classes, and it would have been cool to have more black students in my class, because then I would feel like there's someone I can relate to, and just kind of feel like, okay, I can talk to this person and maybe we can help each other to get some stuff done if we're kind of confused on something and I know the answer and they don't know, and vice versa. Then it's just kind of easier to go to that person and say, hey man, what's going on? Just like I'm sure it is for anybody that's in a predominantly place and they are of one of the majority. So it was just some of the things that we talked about in there. And if there's anyone, after the focus group was over, the person that was running it, they did send out like a lot of resources and stuff like that if we needed help. And personally, I didn't need any of the resources, but I do appreciate that they are trying to take things to a more, just understand more. I appreciate that they're trying to understand where the positions that we're in and where we're coming from. And I hope that they use the data that they compiled to just enhance what they have going on, because it's not bad. It's not a bad program. I don't think that they intentionally leaving out black and brown people, but they are taking the steps to like I said, just enhance it. And all my professors that I encountered and advisors there, they're all wonderful. They helpful if I need help, if I have questions that I need answers to. I feel like they do their best. And I don't know if that's the same experience for everyone that may be in my shoes, but another thing that we were saying there is that we're all different. Some people have said that they have felt like in certain instances they were used as like tokens for being like the only black person doing something special and things like that. So I'm just happy that they were trying to figure out what it was like to be a black student in a predominantly white school and predominantly white department of the school. And they were trying to enhance it and fix it. And if anybody needs those resources or links to things, I can definitely extend my hand and provide those things if anyone's going through that. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it was pretty good. It felt pretty cool to be a part of that group and just talk about some things in open space without just some casual stuff, just because it's different out here. And that's one of the things I'm happy 2020 kind of showed people. It really put the differences of black people, um, people were more aware of them, of just how things were. And for those people that are, continuing to try to understand and show a helping hand and just getting things to a better place, shout out to y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it. And it's some things need to change, and I don't think anyone is asking for a handout in anything, but we just want equal opportunities. That's all. As long as we can have that and things be on a level playing field, and ain't no complaints. You heard? So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, shout out to I want to give a shout out and a congrats to, I think her name was Uganda Pittman. She became the main police chief or something like that for the first black woman, first black woman, I think, to be appointed like head chief of the DC, of the Capitol Police, something like that, like the Capitol Police Force, whatever those people named, the proper name. She's the head of it. She's the first black woman and the first woman. Obviously, she's the first black woman to be appointed that role. So congrats to her. Another interesting thing I saw in the news recently was that for the pandemic, COVID, it really struck the natives, the natives that were here prior to being invaded. A lot of the elder speakers of the original language have been getting hit hard with their rates of catching COVID has been going up. So they were trying to really, I think they were for getting the vaccine and to try to maintain these elder speakers in that sacred language. So I thought it was just kind of like, black people. I always identify with that because that's just who I am. They were saying that, we were hit hard with the COVID and things like that, and there's also another culture out there that's also going through some similar things, and they're really being affected by the pandemic, and they're on the brink of losing all their fluent, natural, original speakers of their language. And my thoughts and prayers go out to that whole tribe, and I hope that the vaccine, because like I said, on the vaccine before, you got to do what you got to do for you and your family and your culture and things like that. So wherever you stand on it is where you stand on it. I'm not here to persuade you in any way, shape, or form. You do what you got to do for you and yours. So just one of the things that I saw, and I thought that was just something that just caught my interest. That like I said, thoughts and prayers out there to the tribes, and hopefully the vaccine works for them and they're able to continue to pass on their legacies and their generations of heritage and history on further. I was speaking to my grandmother recently, who was, and I won't spend too much time on this, but she said that she never seen anything like what happened at the Capitol, and it made me think. I was also talking with a friend, and we were discussing, all the things that this generation has seen, as far as the things that happen in the world around us. We seen 9/11. That was probably the most vivid thing I remember, just growing up. And I'm pretty sure everyone still remembers where they were when they heard the news. And I remember I was in school, and we got sent home early from school. And because I think somewhere on the news they mentioned it, or they had an announcement they mentioned. I can't remember exactly how it was mentioned, but I'm pretty sure I was in school and we got out early to go home. And I was just thinking, like, because I had some family members that traveled to New York on occasion, and I was just thinking, like, man, dude, is any of my family members that go up there right now, you know? And I remember I walked to my mother's house from school because she went up there quite often, or here and there. I don't remember how often, but I remember she just went there before. So I was concerned, if she was there, and I don't, I didn't have a cell phone, so I just walked over there. But she was fine. She was okay, But that's one of the things that I remember growing up, and I just remember there was a lot of, like, my high school years and junior years. There was a lot of just, I feel like, things around me happening that probably wasn't a big deal to anyone that was outside of it happening. Like the city I'm from, anyone outside of there, I don't really have a clue about, but all the things that were happening within my area that I could, be at, just life was changing fast. It didn't feel like I've been through a lot of eras. I've had the early era where it was, the late 90s, and everything just kind of felt gritty, growing up just listening to, hip hop music and stuff like that. It kind of had a way about how the streets were and how people moved and what it was like just in the neighborhoods, just growing up south side of the city, and just being out there and hearing the stories that go on, because I was too young to really be too involved with it. But we heard the stories if of what was going on. And then we had the era where it was baggy jeans, and I mean that's kind of like the '90s era into the 2000s. I remember everyone thinking the world was going to end when it hit 2000. I was a part of that. That was kind of weird. I was a young kid, but people really thought that was it for us. So I remember Y2K, and yeah, then we had 9/11 shortly after that, 2001. Be working with some kids now that go through like depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And they weren't even alive for 9/11, So it's just like, I'll mention it and I'm like, wait, you're only like 17. You don't know anything what I'm talking about, You're 16. You didn't live to see this, but now they living to see, a whole pandemic. And I think there was probably a pandemic before on some disease that you guys can Google, but yeah, they're living through through the pandemic, and this is new to them. This is their first world thing that they're experiencing, and it just kind of shows that over time, different generations dealt with different things, and some generations, for the people that are older, they dealt with so many things, the Bill Clinton stuff, that impeachment. Now they're seeing another impeachment with Donald Trump, and he got impeached twice. No one ever got impeached twice, but he happened to do it. And I think there was another impeachment of another president before that. So, these older, elderly people that we have in our lives, they have a lot of stories, I'm sure, that they can tell you about of the things they've been through and what it's like today. I remember I was working with this older woman. She was in her 80s. I think she was like 84, 85. And, she was just telling me how, the world, how she's seen the world change, because she was born in like, what was it, 30s, 40s, something, whatever equals 84, 85. Math wasn't my one of my favorite subjects. Obviously, it's psychology, so Don't quote me on these years, but however old she was, whatever year she was born, she was just saying how she's seen so much and stuff like that, and I was just amazed because it was like you have your eyes seen a lot, and it's more than what a lot of us seen together in totality. So it's different, just we'll all get through it. Like I said before, it's just amazing how some people have seen a lot of stuff, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more, in the coming years. So, my blessings is with everyone. Hopefully, everyone can continue to get through and get past everything. I was enjoying all the memes and all the TikToks from all the stuff that's been coming out recently. The meme with the girl and the guy. I think those things were my favorite things, just because they're so true. I've seen. I have like some friends that are in just the most toxic relationships ever, and I see these memes, and it's like, I think the girls they go. It's like, hey girl, let's ride by his crib, and she's like, all right, let's go, and then they leaving, and then the next picture, is like, girl, you should just leave him. You don't need him. And then they got the one where I think the dude calls her like a bitch or some shit, and then they end up just leaving together or some shit like that. Like, those things are funny. They're hilarious to me. The TikToks I've been seeing, those things are just fantastic. There's one where it has like how the black cops was. I wish I can remember the TikToker's name, but I can't. But she has some good ones. Or just what it was like to be one of the black cops during that moment, during the riots and stuff like that. And I just hope everybody keeps up the creativity, because it's great to try to find some laughs during these times, because there's some serious stuff. But I'm just happy that we can always find. The internet will always find light of some situations. They'll always find the laughs. It's undefeated, man. The internet will forever be undefeated. But it's been great. It's definitely been great. I've been enjoying myself. I've been wanting to listen to some new music lately, but not much has come out since then, since the year started. The one album that I did listen to, it's probably like one of the only albums that came out, was Jasmine Sullivan's album, which is really good. She got those two songs on it with Ari Lennox and Girl Like Me with her. And man, those songs, she just rocks them things. She goes off. She has one of those voices where she just sings to your soul, And if you haven't already, check that out. The album's called, it's album EP. It's called Hotels, and I think it's spelled like AHEAUX, Hotels, TALES. And it's great, man. If you're into R&B and if you're into women singing and doing their thing, Jasmine Sullivan's album's a great album to check out. I didn't see any other albums really that came out. There was a lot of songs that dropped, singles, but I didn't hear any albums. There was a song called "Hold You Down" by, I don't know how to say this guy's name, but it's like Cy Mosquat. I don't know, but it's a song called "Hold You Down" and it has Lady London in it. And I just heard it recently, and that's a great song. Like it's one of my favorite songs I heard so far. Just in the past month, I would say. It definitely has a lot of replay value. That song, "Hold You Down." Check that one out. It's pretty good. The 50 Cent, I know this song came out like a couple weeks ago or something with NLE Choppa and someone else. I just finally listened to it today, actually, because I wasn't really a fan of NLE Choppa, just, his style of music. That's not really what I listen to. he's a young kid and he's for a different demographic than I am. It's not the type of rap music I listen to. But anyway, it's a 50 Cent song and it's called man, what is that song called? Hold on a second. I want to find the name of the song because the song is a good song. Part of the game. That's what it is. Part of the game. Uh, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to like NLE Choppa's part. I thought that was a good, dope move by 50 to put the, because I know he's a kid like 19 or something. I like that he reached out to him probably and put him on the track. I know 50 has a good ear for good music. He was on the Pop Smoke. He knows good music, when he hears it, and he reaches out to these people and puts them on puts them on. Essentially, not. I mean, NLE Choppa obviously been on, but just putting him on a track is a good look. It's a good nod. 50 offered me a feature, anyone a feature. You hop on that song, and the boy showed up. I liked the little verse he spit. It sounded good to hear him in a different space, on a different type of vibe, because the beat, it kind of like an R&B melodic beat, but they're rapping on it obviously, and they both just did their thing. It's a great song, and I say y'all should check that out because I was pleasantly surprised by it, and I enjoyed it. There's some more songs that I have to finish checking out. Just some new songs, a lot of singles. I know Russ dropped a single with Lil Baby. I heard some of it, but I ain't really have the time to sit with it, and listen to it in its entirety, or maybe in a different space. Because there's times where you hear a song and you're just like, I don't like the song. It's not good. And then you hear it in a different space, around maybe different people, or just in a different element. And then it's like, okay, I like this song now. So sometimes it's just about where you listen to the song and how you're listening to it that determines if you even like it. So I know for me, like I said, I'll hear a song. What song did I have that with? Dang, my memory is so bad, but I do my best to remember things. I did finally listen to that Lil Baby song. I think it's on Air by. Yo, I swear, the dude, he never missed. Ever since I can remember, yo, like, he's been on a roll. I've never heard a bad Baby verse. And he just keeps going. Like, he delivers consistently. And I think he didn't get a Grammy nomination either, which is crazy because after the year he had, and he's still going, those two little singles he put out like a little month back, I finally listened to him recently, and yo, the boy never misses, man. He never misses. He's something that's people gonna have to deal with for a long time. And shout out to him. Shout out to them songs. Check him out if you didn't listen to him yet. And I just hope that we get some more music. I feel like it's gonna be a great year of music. I feel like the people that's gonna deliver, they gonna come deliver soon, and I'm just here for it. I'm here for it. Another one of the things that I kind of thought about recently is, how the pandemic affected my eating habits. Before the pandemic started, just think about how you have been consuming food. Have you been before it started, the pandemic that is, were you cooking more, or was you more of a eat outer? Did you typically just go to fast food restaurants? Did you go to someone else's house to eat? Is that how you ate on a regular basis? And think about, how the pandemic affected, the way you eat. Did you start to eat more by cooking? Did you start to eat out more? Did you learn any new recipes? Did you try new things to make with, all this time of being home? And think about if you if you develop better eating habits, since then. Because I know for some people who has been home and they didn't want to go out, maybe they gained a lot of weight. Not a lot, I mean, but maybe they did. Maybe they did gain a lot of weight. Maybe less going out and less access to gyms. Maybe people ate more and gained more weight. Maybe they ate out more. I know for me, I feel like I used to cook a lot more before the pandemic, and now I feel like I had my little moment where I ate out more for a while, and then I feel like then I started to cook again as well, just more recently. So I feel like I definitely went up. I was cooking more, then I started to eat out more, and now I'm going back to cooking more. So, just think of how you were affected, what maybe changed with your habits and where you're trying to get them to. I know I started to stay up a lot later during the pandemic, when I didn't have too much going on, and I would eat more like snacks and stuff late at night, just because I was up. So I'm a bored eater. When I'm bored, I'll just go ahead and eat something, just because, for no reason. It's just because I'm bored, so. But I trying to get back into more healthy things, more healthy habits, so, you got to be aware of these things. Got to be aware of how certain things are affecting you, because we're always going to be affected by other people. We're always going to be affected by external things socially. We're always going to be affected by that. And you just got to be aware of how these things affect you. So just think about where you're at and where you came from and where you're trying to go, and you should be all right to, just get yourself into some good habits. Man, I guess the other news that there's to talk about is, sports, the NBA. James Harden, he went from the Rockets to the Nets. They finally traded him. They got him up out of there. James Harden's officially a Brooklyn Net, and they gave up a lot to get him. They traded away Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, I think like 8 first-round picks, 4 unprotected, 4 swaps. They let go of Karis LeVert, and he's now a Pacer. And Oladipo is on the Rockets. And Jared Allen and who was the other person I said? Jared Allen, I think he went to Cleveland. Was it Cleveland? It was like a 4-team trade. I think he went to Cleveland. So it's definitely like it's a new look. It's a whole new team. A lot of people, I think Vegas and all the sports places got them. They got them coming out the East now, but the Lakers are still favored to win it all. That's not an easy thing to throw together. Can't throw James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant together on the fly and expect a championship, that same year. Because we've seen that as difficult. We've seen that, we've seen it last year with the Clippers. They threw Paul George and Kawhi together, and they barely played any games together. And then when it was crunch time, we seen that they folded because they didn't really have no chemistry. They didn't really know how each other played. They didn't really, their personalities wasn't meshing with the other players in the locker room. And it didn't work. And now you're throwing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who already barely played. I don't think they played more than 4 games together. And now Kyrie's out for who knows why, because he's dealing with stuff. And now James Harden's there. And we could talk about, how ball dominant Kyrie is and James Harden is. We know that. And you throw that together with Kevin Durant, who has proven that, he doesn't need the ball to be effective. He can get 30, 40 points in his sleep, on any given night with just taking 15, 16, 17 shots. And the boy got 36 and you don't even know how. And then you pair that with James Harden, who they did play with together years back, with Kyrie Irving, who showed that he's not really the best teammate to even play with, He doesn't really mesh well with the players in the locker room. He rubs people the wrong way. He throws people under the bus when he feels like they're just not good enough. And now, James Harden's been dealing with a lot of teammates. He had Westbrook last year for some reason. I mean, it wasn't going to work because they didn't have no big. But then they moved on from him. He had Chris Paul, moved on from him. Had Dwight Howard, moved on from him. And now he's with the Nets, who, they weren't looking that great, but that's because their 2-star players didn't really play. So they were still doing good. I think they're still like 6-5 or something. Or something around there. But they were doing all right. They were 4th in 3-point percentage. They were 7th in free throws made. 8th in rebounds per game. 8th in assists. 22nd in steals. 7th in blocks. And where do you figure those numbers to go now? No Jared Allen. Do we think the blocks, stay in the top 10? 8th in rebounds. Do you think their rebounding stays in the top 10? 7th in free throws made. That might go up. You had James Harden, who can get 20 free throws on any given night. So their free throws might increase. Their assists might increase because James Harden does pass the ball. He's not a ball hog. He averaged 10 assists, I think, this year. And he led the league in assists recently. So, their assists may go up. If they learn how to play a little better and, have that Golden State vibe. Because Kevin Durant, I'm sure he knows that they got to play team ball. They ball can't get stuck. They just got to let that thing flow and, whoever's open, shoot. So I feel like it's up to him to really make this thing work. He's the one orchestrating all the moves because he's the best one out of all of them. Nothing's getting done without his okay. So I think that, if he can make it work, if he can get them in check and say, hey, guys, listen, we got to play this team ball because this is how it works. If he can incorporate that Golden State team-style basketball and Steve Nash can, help lead them because I feel like they're going to need a coach for the X's and O's when it's playoff time. You can only just play pickup style ball for so long and expect it to work when you're playing against better teams with really good coaches. We seen that, just last year with Doc Rivers and Mike Malone, the Nuggets against the Clippers. When the players don't know what to do, it's up to the coach to, hey, this is what we got to do. So I feel like it's going to be up to Steve Nash to be able to lead them when it's time to be led. Because the players can take you but so far, but like I said, when it comes to them good coaches who knows the X's and O's and can devise a strategy to stop whatever you're doing effectively, then, somebody got to counteract that. It's like a game of chess. So it's going to be interesting to see, definitely, if the Nets can make it to the finals and then win it all this year. I definitely feel like within the next couple years, they'll win one. They might win two because that's a nuclear powerhouse juggernaut style team. Kevin Durant, MVP. James Harden, MVP. Kyrie, we know what he did when he was in the finals, hitting buckets, getting buckets. So, you know, they still got Joe Harris, who still can ball. They still got Dinwiddie. They got DeAndre Jordan still, if he can stay healthy and stay active and get on the boards and just be a rim protector. Then they still got a chance because they still do. They got those three players, and that's kind of all they need. So if they can play defense, if they can move the ball, not be selfish. If Kyrie can show up, it's gonna be a wild playoffs. And I'm here for it. I'm here to see all of it. I'm happy that I feel like the Rockets, they ain't losing in the trade. They got 4 first-round picks and 4 pick swaps. And, they can flip them picks into somebody else if they wanted to. I really like where they're at. Got John Wall, Oladipo, PJ Tucker still there. And what's his name? Christian Wood that was on Detroit. He's there balling. Boogie Cousins is still there. Eric Gordon's still there. They still got a squad, and it's going to be good to see if they can make some noise to maybe. I think they got the play-in type style playoff, so maybe they can play in and beat a squad and catch that AFC. That would definitely be an achievement, if they could do it. And I think they got the capabilities to do it because Boogie's been an all-star. John Wall's been an all-star. Christian Wood is looking like an all-star. Oladipo's been an all-star. They still got a nice little squad, and I'm gonna see what they can do, make some noise. But yeah, man, James Harden's officially in that. It's crazy they did it. It was only a matter of time. We all knew that he ain't want to be there. He said it can't be fixed, and there's nothing anybody can do. So the clock was ticking. But that was the bombshell of the sports recently, and I think the Lakers will still win it this year. That's my pick still. I'm not going to pick Giannis to make it anymore, especially not after that move. I'm going to go with Brooklyn. I think they'll make it to the finals. I just don't think they'll win it. And I got the Lakers in 7, So that's currently where I stand with it. Lakers, Nets, Bron in 7. And we'll see how the season goes. As far as the NFL, some of my picks were right. Some of them was wrong. The Buffalo, picked them. They won. I knew that would happen. I thought the Titans would win, but the Ravens really shut down King Henry. So, it was good to see Lamar get that first win. That was one of the things that, I didn't know if he would play well. I just didn't know. He didn't do it up until this point, so I had no reason to believe he could do it. But he did it. Obviously, he's still a threat. It's still Lamar Jackson. He can still run for 100 yards easy in his sleep. And that's exactly what he did. And the Colts is moving on. I mean, not the Colts. The Ravens is moving on. The Colts is out of here. The Bills beat them. They talking about bringing Rivers back. But who really cares? They're out of the playoffs this year. We'll see what they do next year. So, it's the Bills against the Ravens now for the next round. And before I pick a team on who I think is going to win, let's talk about the Steelers. Second best team in the league, and they lost. Browns just put a number on them. Big Ben Roethlisberger looked like it was time to hang it up. And Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they did their thing. They ran just enough to get the job done. I mean, Big Ben had 4 turnovers. I think maybe 5 turnovers. I know he threw 4 picks, but I'm not sure if he fumbled. But yeah, it got bad early, real early. The Browns was up 28, I think in the first quarter alone. I didn't pick them to win. I had the Steelers because the Browns didn't have their play caller, their head coach, Stefanski. But I wasn't expecting Big Ben to go out there and have that type of performance. I thought he would throw a lot of touchdowns. I think he'd throw 3. and he threw 4. I thought he would have a lot of yards. I didn't put a number, but he ended up with 501, second most in the playoffs, behind Tom Brady's 505 or something like that against the Eagles. And yeah, man, those turnovers was the difference, and Pittsburgh really never had a chance of even coming back. So, we'll see what Roethlisberger does. He got another year at like $30 million. He'll probably come back for that. Who wouldn't? I would. And they'll probably give it a go next year. And, he knows he's close to the end. Or if he doesn't know, his play is definitely dictating that. And, they definitely need a running game. We'll see what adjustments they make. But they're out of here. Peace. And the Steelers is gone. The Browns is playing the Chiefs next. So to back up to the Ravens and the Bills, I just think this is going to be a great game, honestly. I have something in me just really likes the Bills. They don't really have a run game, and that's where I'm apprehensive on picking them to win the game, because the Ravens' run game is so much. I think they're like top 2 or 1, 2, or 3. They're up there. I think they might be 1. Who knows? I can't remember. But either way, their run game is where it needs to be. And although their pass game ain't, they can keep people off the field. They can keep Josh Allen off the field. And I feel like with the Browns' lack of a running game, if it's a close game, the Ravens are going to win. Because I feel like if Lamar Jackson has the ball and he needs to go get a touchdown, and it's the last drive of the game, or if he needs to get a field goal, just to get in field goal range with Justin Tucker, their kicker, I have a lot of confidence that he can go get you the amount of yards, whether it's throwing or running, and he can get it done. So if it's a close game, I'm taking the Ravens. I can't predict the score on this because, I don't know. It could be a low-scoring game. It can be a high-scoring game. You just never know. I thought the Titans game would be a high-scoring game, but it only turned out to be 2013. So, it depends what the Ravens do. Like I said, if it's a close game, they're just going to run it and kill the clock, But if it's a high-scoring game, I like the Bills, because that means the Bills are doing something. They're doing something well, and the Ravens can't stop it. But I do think that the Bills also have some holes where the Ravens could just run all over them. So, but if it's a high-scoring game, I'm taking the Bills. If it's a low-scoring game like 2013-ish, 2017, 21, 24, something like that, I'll take the Ravens. But anything more than 24 points, I'm going to roll with the Bills, man. I don't know. Actually, I'll say this. If the Ravens are within a touchdown or a field goal, they'll win. But if they're not within a touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game, then I'll take the Bills. So, there's that. The Chiefs and the Browns. Now, after I seen what the Browns did to the Steelers, I still am really, really liking the Browns' chance. They definitely have a chance of beating the Chiefs. Now, my only thing is, can Baker Mayfield outthrow Patrick Mahomes in a high-scoring game? Because the Chiefs can do what the Ravens do, and that's play keep away without even running the ball effectively, because their run game isn't that great. But they have Patrick Mahomes, who can get you 30 in the blink of an eye. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs, but I do like the Browns' chances. I wouldn't be surprised if they won, just because their run game is crazy. They have one of them run games, like the 49ers got a run game, just because they have Chubb and Hunt, and they can do it. They can get you 100 each, Chubb can get you 100, and Hunt can get you close to 100 receiving and 70 rushing, and, just have an all-around game. And if the Browns do win, that's going to be ironic, because the Chiefs had Hunt, and he let him go, rightfully so, because of that incident he had. But yeah, I would not be surprised if Hunt did a number on the Chiefs I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns found a way to win. And the sports world will that'll be one for the sports world because the Browns never been good. Not in my whole life they ain't been good up until this year. And it's good to see. I like to root for underdogs here and there. And if they won, that'd be cool. But I'll take the Chiefs. I'll take the Chiefs in this one. And I'll predict for the AFC Chiefs and the Bills. And that's that for the AFC. For the NFC, I knew that the Saints would win, and they did. No surprise there. I knew that the Bucks would win. I thought it'd be I thought the Washington team would score a little more points than they did, but they didn't start Alex Smith. They started some guy Tyler Heineke, and although I think he performed well, it just wasn't enough. And Tom Brady won, which I predicted. So now he got that rematch with Drew Brees and the Saints, and that's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good game. Before I give you a prediction on that, let's flip over to the Seahawks and the Rams. And to my surprise, Russell didn't show up, man. I really thought that he would be the difference, and he would win. He would do better than Jared Goff or that other guy who would start, Wolford or something like that. I thought he was the better quarterback of the two or of the three, and I thought he would prevail. But that Rams defense, they didn't make it easy. They didn't let him get comfortable, and I think he threw a pick six early on, and they didn't really. That Rams defense they showed up, and they definitely carried that team to victory. And Sean McVay called a good game. They had a good run game with Akers, who ran effectively. I think he had over 100 yards, and he played keep away too. They were up, and their run game didn't let Russell even get a chance. So it was a pleasant surprise. I did like their defense. I just thought that Russell would be the difference, and he didn't do it. He didn't pull it off. I feel like I think one of the sports analysts said it, and I agree that they need a tight end. If they had a tight end that could catch and block as well, mainly that because it could catch, because they have Carson, who's a solid running back. But I feel like if he had another receiver that he can count on, for the short passes, they should look into that. And if they can find a good tight end that could produce, get like maybe 500, 700 yards a year in a season, I think that's what they're missing. I think that's what they need. Their defense is solid. I like their defense. They got Jamal Adams like midseason or beginning of the season, whenever it was. And I like them next year. We'll see. We'll see what they do next year. But they're out of here, so sayonara to them. So we got Saints and the Bucks. I will take the Bucks in this one. I think it'll be a shootout, probably. And maybe like 30s. 31-34, 34-37, 31-28, somewhere around there. I think Tom Brady will pull it off. If it's a close game, this is like if Tom Brady is within a touchdown or a field goal, same thing applies. With the Bills and the Ravens game. If he's within a field goal, or if he's up by a field goal with 2 minutes left, if he's within striking distance, he'll strike, and I think he'll win. But I mean, is that playing both sides? It might be playing both sides to say like if he's within the touchdown, then he'll win. But I mean, I just feel like with those teams, with the Ravens and the Bucks, you just gotta blow them out. If you don't blow them out, then you can't count them out. Because their quarterbacks are just so deadly that you can't give them a chance because they'll make you regret it. Especially Tom Brady, we've seen it time and time again. I remember when they was in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, and I was at my cousin's house. I was in Atlanta, and I told him, I mean, it was halftime, and they were down, obviously. And I was like, yo, he's going to come back. I just had a feeling he was going to come back. And if I was a betting man at the time and I had some money, I would have betted on Tom Brady coming back. Because it's one of those people you can't count out. And I just feel like this is one of those years where you just can't count him out. So I think that the Bucs will win. I'm going to pick the Bucs straight up. I think they'll win. And I think they'll play the Packers because I think the Packers will beat the Rams. I feel like it'll be a tough game because that Rams defense is real. Yeah. But I think that, the Rams know that Jared Goff ain't it. So I think he'll prove that he's just not it and he can't get it done when it's crunch time. So I'll take the Packers to play the Bucs and that was at the divisional championship, whatever, NFC championship. So those are my picks for this upcoming weekend, and we'll see how we go next week. We'll see how these teams go. And I think that's going to be a wrap, guys, for, this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in again. I do appreciate it. Share this with someone that will enjoy it and will listen and, will check me out. I hope you guys, got to maybe learn something today or just this is going to help you reflect and think about things and maybe help change some ways that, you may need to change about it, the things we talked about today. And I'm excited to see what happens, throughout this next week and see where we stand next week. Hopefully rolling and just, still going forward and doing what we got to do. Again, you can check me out. Check out the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, on Podbean, on SoundCloud, if I didn't say that. SoundCloud name is Daboyo, Daboyyo. You can find a pod there. You can also find, my most recent EP I put out called Just For You, which is also on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Tidal, Amazon Music, all that. You can follow on Instagram, ohh.omar, or you can follow Mornings with Omar, and that's the podcast page. You can follow on YouTube, Omeezy2042. I know I told y'all we would have the videos, but I didn't want to do the videos in a way where, y'all wouldn't see the best. It wouldn't be the best quality. So next week is the week where y'all will have the video. I'm in the process of getting the right camera. I had to do my research and figure out what was the best thing to do. So y'all should start seeing the videos next week on YouTube, Omeezy2042. You can also find full episodes there. It's just there's no video, but it's there. Podbean is Mornings with Omar. On Spotify, Mornings with Omar. Everywhere else, you just can search up Mornings with Omar, wherever they have a podcast, and I'll be there. If there is a place that you prefer to listen to podcasts at, and I'm not there, reach out, let me know, and I can make sure it's there. Again, hope everybody takes care. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Do what you gotta do. Stay up, stay blessed, stay beautiful. It's your boy, I'm out.